We rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to take a moment of silence thinking about the violence in Boston and those that have been injured. Thank you. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Ross is unable to be with us today, so Dr. Baker is filling in as secretary. Could you please call the roll?
Yes. Dr. Randalls.
Present.
Mr. Ross, absent. Ms. Slade. Baker here. LeGrand.
Yes.
Lanier. Moody.
Present.
O'Connor.
Here.
Bolton.
Present. Both Mr. Ross and Ms. Slade have excused absences. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. First on our agenda are celebrations.
Thank you, President Paul. I would like to ask Melvin Atkins Jr. to come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Anna R. Vezu attends Creston High School, and in February, with assistance from Ms. Natasha Anderson and Sergeant Janelle Carter, she participated at Western Michigan University's Multicultural Leadership Scholarship Competition on February 23rd. And then the requirements for that was you had to have at least a 3-point GPA and an 18 composite score in the ACT. So excellent student to begin with, too. The scholarship she was competing for was a $16,000 scholarship, $4,000 per year. And she was accepted two things. One, she was accepted to Western. Also, congratulations on that.
Fantastic.
And two, also, she received that full $16,000 scholarship.
Fantastic.
Anna has been a part of the honors program her entire 4 years at Creston and has a cumulative GPA of 3.7. For the past 4 years, she participated in Creston's softball team, volleyball, and bowling team. She continues to work with the homeless program and GRPS to qualify for additional scholarships. Help me in congratulating again, Anna. Any questions?
Any questions for Hannah?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Athletics.
Next, I'd like to ask Kurt Johnson to come forward. And this is for the state and national qualifiers. I apologize, it is not Ottawa Hills High School only.
Good evening.
Good evening.
President Dr. Favre, Superintendent Weatherall Neal, and esteemed board members, it gives me great pleasure to be with you to share some of the successes and accomplishments that have been going on in the athletic department. Tonight you'll hear from our high schools, where City High School, Michael Pasco is the principal, Central High School, Mark Frost is the principal, Ottawa Hills High School, Rodney Lewis is the principal, Union High School, Carl Nelson is the principal, and University Prep Academy, where Daniel Williams is the principal. I would like to begin by just kind of recapping a few things that have happened over this school year at a kind of rapid-fire pace there. Back in the fall, we kicked off our big district-wide event with our 20th anniversary of the Thanksgiving Day Run. We moved it downtown. We had over 2,000 participants in that event, and we view that as much success, and we're looking forward to making it even bigger and better next year. We moved right into the winter season, where we brought back the holiday basketball tournament after a nearly 30-year absence. And we rebranded it, retitled it, the Battle of the Interstate 96, East versus West. And that was a competition where several West Michigan high school teams competed against several East Side high school teams. And the West did win in our inaugural event. But a lot of the East Side schools expressed an interest in returning this year and being a part of the competition again. We are closing in on almost 3,000 participants in our elementary programs. In all of the sports offerings that that we have now been able to offer to our elementary students. We're almost at about almost 4,000 parents of family members and spectators and supporters who come out and support those events as we do those every season. So we're really pleased about that. And that is through the generous support of the Student Advancement Foundation. We could not do it without them, and we really appreciate what they do to provide and help us provide this type of programming. We also have entered into our 4th year of favorable results for our middle school expansion athletic program. And so we're very pleased about that, and that is through the generous support of Doug and Maria DeVos and their foundation, and we really appreciate what they also do. We've also embarked upon a new endeavor for our elementary students, grades 3 through 5, the Jump Jam, which is a partnership with Spectrum Health. And that event is actually coming up this Saturday, April 20th. Downtown Grand Rapids at the DeVos Place, where we have almost 600 students registered to do that. And we thank Spectrum Health for a partnership and being able to provide another activity for students. And we appreciate the support with Ms. Lanier, who kind of brought us all together and made some of this happen there. So we really appreciate that, because it's another offering, another activity that our students can be a part of. At this time, you're going to hear about some of our high school successes. You're going to hear about some teams that went undefeated this year. You're going to hear about several student athletes who qualify for conference level competition, state level competition, and even national competition. You're also going to hear about one of our very own coach and staff members who was inducted into her university's Hall of Fame. Quite an honor. So without any further ado, I want to introduce the athletic director from Ottawa Hills High School, Marcus Harris, as he comes to share with you.
Thank you, Dr. Faub, Superintendent Teresa Neal, and board members. We had a great year so far at Ottawa Hills with athletics. Here to, like Mr. Johnson said, acknowledge and congratulate many of our wonderful student athletes and their coaches. First, we had 2 Union High School bowlers who made it to the state finals. One finished 3rd in the region, and another finished 8th in the region. Today with us, we have, along with bowling coach at Union High School, Corey Woodbrink, we have Emily Gronkowski and Quinny Newton, both making it to the state bowling finals.
All right.
Also at,
Audience will know who they are. So the
Yes,
audience will
thank
see
you.
them.
Nice.
Also at Ottawa Hills, we had 2 bowlers to make the state finals. 9th grader Taj Banks and 12th grader Taiwan Bivens. Taiwan finishing 3rd in the region, and Taj Banks finishing 5th in the region. Keep it going. Our swim season had a tremendous season, a great turnaround year for our swim program, thanks to Coach Eve, who was also with us. The Ottawa Hills men's swimming team is capping off its best season in decades, sending 6 swimmers to the state finals at Eastern Michigan. The team qualified in 3 relay events, and sophomore Robert Paul qualified in both the 50 and the 500 freestyle. Also, along with Paul is his brother, Michael Paul. Also, senior Andrew Lowe, Isaac LeGrand, and Garrett Beltman, along with the sophomores Jack Culp and Michael Paul. Sophomore diver Shane Mason also competed in the diving regionals at East Grand Rapids. Also, Robert Paul broke a 31-year-old Ottawa Hills school record in the 50 freestyle with a time of 22.36 seconds and placed 14th. Also with us here is our boys freshman basketball team and our JV boys boys JV team. The Ottawa Hills freshman and JV team had an exceptional season, a perfect season to say the least. Both teams went 19-0, did not lose a game, perfect season. Freshman coach Darren Adams, JV coach Erskine Stanley, and also with us here today is our varsity program leader, Coach Van Mayfield. Let's give a hand for our perfect season. And hopefully that trend will continue in future years.
That's right.
Also, still with Ottawa Hills, we have our track program. We just started outdoor track this spring, but also in preparation for outdoor track, we have our indoor track season, which is also coached by our Ottawa Hills track coach, Coach Tony Shellman, who's also with us here today. Our indoor track team had a wonderful, wonderful experience. We had several students that competed at the state level at Central Michigan on February 23rd. That included Sam Bill, who won the 200-yard dash in 22.41 seconds. Also included Teelan Avery, Ja'Cory Millbrooks, and the boys 4x200 relay team, including Rashard Bivens, Millbrooks, Sam Bill, and Teelan Avery. Also, we had our girls 4x200 team that finished 8th overall at the state. That included Chantel Lister, Satori Spicer, and Kyra Roberson. Chantel also competed in the open 400-meter yard dash.
Stand.
And not only did some of our track performers perform well at the state level, they were also good enough to perform at the national level in New York City, where they attended the New Balance Indoor Nationals held on March 7th through March 10th. Those qualifiers included Sam Bill, who finished 16th overall, and Teelan Avery, who finished 27th overall in the 60-meter dash. Also, our boys 4x200 relay team included Rashard Bivens, Ja'Cory Millbrooks, Sam Bill, and Teelan Avery also competed at the national level in New York City. Thank you to all the coaches, all the wonderful parents. Thank you, board members, for supporting GRPS Athletics and Ottawa Hills Athletics, Union Athletics, Crescent Athletics, K-12 Athletics. Thank you again, and great job, students.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hess.
That's right.
Shake your hand.
All right. Ding, 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 ding. All right, nice job. Nice job.
Congratulations. 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 Nice work.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Oh, great job.
Congrats. Nice work. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congrats. Congratulations.
Like all these hands, some are warm, some are freezing. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations. Watch out, Congratulations, guys. Good job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
You're a coach or player?
Congratulations. Congrats.
You talked me into it and then you didn't do it.
Oh, you are great. The high five. There's the
That's what they
sports.
do, right?
Shoot, Tyson, tell your friend.
Just about what? Just talking about what you see and what's happening with the school.
Well, those were some nice handshakes.
Is that here? Straight up punch and square. Because we should make a,
Go ahead.
That it says that you provide it. I just don't want that to be a.
yeah,
I
so
know-
we
I know
need to
you
correct that. You don't have it for tonight. But-
So when-
So I'll tell Wendy to correct that.
Testing?
Thank you.
Now it'll take over.
Thank you.
some action. Correct that.
As we quickly move forward to the last acknowledgement,
So that's,
it's quite an honor when an institution decides to recognize you and you become a part of their permanent history. I had the pleasure of traveling to St. Louis back in February to witness a very special ceremony in which one of our very own, Shatoya Likely, varsity basketball girls coach at Ottawa Hills, was inducted into the Hall of Fame at St. Louis University. And I'm going to let Mr. Harris say a little about that as we acknowledge and recognize her.
Thank you again. Shatoya Likely, if many of you don't know, she's a product of the GRPS Public Schools, competed in high school basketball at a very, very, very high level at Central High School, where I believe she's still the current record holder for points at Central High School. Like Mr. Johnson said, she was recently inducted to the St. Louis University, St. Louis Billikens, for their Hall of Fame on February 15th. This is Shatoya's fourth year coaching at Ottawa Hills High School. Likely, a four-year starting guard on the women's Billikens basketball squad, is the program's all-time leading scorer with 1,545 points. She led the Billikens in scoring in 3 of her 4 seasons. Shatoya ranks 5th in career scoring, average 14.3 points a game, and is 4th all-time on St. Louis in three-pointers made, 151. In 1995, she averaged 17 points per game, which stands as the best scoring output by a St. Louis Billiken freshman. Likely was named to the Great Midwest Conference All-Newcomers team for her efforts. Likely joined the 1,000-point club as a junior, and in her senior year, she was named to the Conference USA third team. Let's give a hand for Coach Shatoya Likely.
I just want to say thank you to everyone. Just like Mr. Harris said, I went to St. Louis University on a full ride scholarship, played all 4 years. And the most important thing is I earned my degree. My degree's in communications. But I enjoy what I do. I love Grand Rapids Public Schools, and I'm glad that I'm at Ottawa Hills coaching to try to help some other young lady fulfill their dream.
And we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Keep up the good work.
Again, we thank the support of the board and the superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Harris. Thank you. Mr. Harrington. Mr. Arrington. Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. How's everybody doing today? I just wanted to say congratulations to all the student athletes for their achievements, and thank you to the coaches. And I also wanted just to give a special shout out to the board, for I know I've been seeing a lot of transformation already for our schools, and I just wanted to let y'all know that there's been a lot of I guess you can say advertisement for the schools. I know I've been hearing a lot on the radios, and I see y'all putting y'all some input in so we can be able to get recognized around the city. So I just want to thank y'all for that, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Arrington.
So cute.
Public comment for board agenda items. I do not have any cards. Is there any public comment? Being none, we will move on. Report, Secretary's report.
Okay, filling in for Mr. Russ tonight. There are 3 events I need to let people know about. One is April is Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month, and all across the country, individuals will unite together to show support for children and to bring awareness to child abuse and neglect and the importance of prevention. On April 22nd, the community is invited to gather for the 61st District Courthouse between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. to show support against child abuse and neglect, along with hundreds of other supporters from Millions Against Child Abuse, Grand Rapids. Following the march, there will be painting the pinwheels as a symbol of child abuse and neglect prevention. And the 61st District Court is located at 180 Ottawa Northwest. Second event, on April 23rd, the Student Advancement Foundation will be hosting Mindshare 2013. This is the main fundraiser and gala for the Student Advancement Foundation to raise funds for Grand Rapids Public Schools. This is again on April 23rd at DeVos Place in the Stillcase Ballroom starting at 5 p.m. This year's theme is Milestones, Miles to Go. Mindshare is an opportunity to showcase the talents of GRPS students, present the success of Student Advancement Foundation campaigns have achieved, and announce the newest endeavors to remove barriers to student success. And finally, the Kent Vocational Options and Community-Based Occupational Training is having its 7th annual Fine Arts program on April 25th at Creston High School at 7 p.m. The theme is rock and roll. Tickets are $5.
Thank you. Dr. Baker? Madam Superintendent?
I'm not sure where John is, but I just wanted to provide, we wanted to just a brief information on the transformation plan. We are in full swing, and so John will give a brief report on all the things that we've done in the last about a month. Done quite a bit.
Good evening, President, Superintendent, members of the board. Just a quick update on the transformation plan. The letters are out. You know, that was a good couple months in the making, if you can imagine. All the 17,000 plus students, each getting a letter, and each with a varying degree of difference on the letters, so that is out. Hats off to my colleague Callie, and then the student information, student services, all that went into it. Also, in addition to the letters being out, the billboards are up, the bus ads are up, the radio ads are running, and so we are in full tilt mode leading up through May on the marketing, and I think you may hear later or vote later on a private donation that helped make some of that happen. We also have another round of the transformation plan meetings starting next week. Notably, it starts on April 22nd at Union from 6 to 7:30 p.m., April 24th at Creston from 6 to 7:30, and April 25th at Ottawa, 6 to 7:30. Please note that originally advertised that Creston was on April 23rd, but we have since changed that because of the SAF dinner that night. And there will also be all staff meetings. So in addition to those community meetings where people can come learn about school choices, ask questions, learn more about the plan, we also from 4 to 5 p.m. on those same days, all staff have been invited to come from wherever they are in the district to attend any one of those, and we'll be repeating those again in May. The events in May, though, are going to be more like carnival, fun, park party than just about transformation. Obviously, there'll be booths there, and those dates are May 21st at Union, May 22nd at Creston, and May 23rd at Ottawa. And those will have very much their spring carnival-esque events. And then again, we're going to continue to answer questions. We've been attending individual school meetings. I know myself and other members of cabinet are there to answer questions. Student Services has been there. So it's full tilt communications right now to try to answer questions and get students signed up and ready for next year.
Thank you.
I would like to make a comment that those letters were incredibly well done. At least the two we got at our house.
Yes.
That I just want to say congratulations for all the hard work, because it not only said where your student is correctly and where they're going to go, and, I mean, there was a lot of detail and effort, obviously, in those letters, so I hope everyone else got, that people were impressed, because it really reflected a lot of hard work.
Thank you, Dr. Andrews. I had the same. I had two very different letters for my different children, and they were, it was
In all
excellent.
honesty, knowing that our database is always the challenge, you know, addresses
Right.
change, but by and large, considering the massive letters, we've actually had relatively few concerns and complaints. And we certainly had our share, but we're working through them.
I was just gonna joke and say, good job making sure the board members' letters were right.
Oh, we didn't have anything to do with that.
That's great.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yep. Committee
thinking
chair
the same thing,
updates. Dr. Baker.
The Academic Achievement Committee met last Tuesday, and we discussed two difficult topics, the grading procedures in the grade book, which actually the administration is making some changes to, and that will be reported later. Also, we're working on the committee is working on creating an evaluation, a teacher evaluation policy to protect the work related to the teacher evaluation procedures that this district is creating in the model evaluation plan that uses multiple methods to assess what's happening in the classroom. And so we're trying to create a policy. Actually, Pastor Moody, Ms. Slade, and I will meet with Sharon Pitts to craft a policy that we will hopefully be finalizing at the next committee meeting before we send it on to the full board. And I, again, ask teachers especially to be there to participate. And we really want to have a policy that everybody understands and appreciates the efforts. And the next meeting is, I believe, May 14. Is that correct? Okay. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. O'Connor.
Finance Committee meeting normally scheduled for the fourth Friday or Monday of the month will be moved to the last Friday or Monday of this month, the 29th. Last week on Friday, several board members met with some of our state legislators, some city officials, some representatives for our federal legislatures, and talked about our needs as it comes to funding. The governor and both the House and Senate for the state of Michigan have put out their proposed budgets, and knowing the proposed impacts as originally introduced, gave us an opportunity to talk with them about our concerns, and we're going to continue to monitor the budget situation as our finance department works to craft the budget for next year.
Thank you. Questions from other board members for the committees? Next on the agenda, we have an action item for the 60-day non-renewal resolution. Do I have a motion to support that resolution?
Support.
I need motion.
Motion.
Motion. Do I have support?
Support.
Discussion, questions?
I guess I have some.
Mr. O'Connor, yes.
The resolution as crafted, we do not have a list of who these individuals are, and the motion clearly indicates that there's a list and that it should be attached to the motion. So.
That's my question too.
Right.
So you do not have a list attached on of the new positions. So I guess I would ask that you change the motion to state that you have a resolution for 60-day, but you do not have the names attached. That is correct.
Can we,
Change the motion that we accept the resolution for 60 days.
That's correct. That's right, Nate.
What page is that now?
That is page 6 of the packet.
So do we know why we don't have?
Yes, because I've chosen not to make that list public at this time. That is correct.
Discussions, questions?
My first comment, I think, is I don't know how legal this is.
It is, you don't, it is, you
Yeah,
don't
okay,
have to
help me
have
to
a list
understand.
attached.
Okay.
No, you have to do a 60-day resolution, but you don't have to have the names. That is correct.
So then what are we basing the decision on?
The decision on
On
not
who-
to have a,
On who not to renew? Because it indicated some, it didn't say, it wasn't, if it had been like a blanket 60-day notice for all, then it would have, then I can see where, there wasn't a need, but it said some, I can't pull it up right away.
that's okay, it does say some. You're right, Sanita. And it is because there are some people that will not be renewed for different reasons, and then there are some that we know that will be coming back. So when you do get a list, it will be for some positions, people that we know we are going to place, and others we are working through the process.
So would that list let us know the reason why they won't be either returning or returning?
The list would not let you know that, no. It would give you names. What we want to do is for those people that we know are coming back, we want to ensure them that they have a job so they don't go out and seek other employment. But then there are those that we are still working through the process. We still have positions to fill, and there are still, we're still in the process of movement. There are people that are resigning and retiring and leaving the district. And so in order to complete the picture, we don't want to do that early and then make changes, which is what we have done in the past. We have given assignments and then waited until after a month or 2 months, and then we changed the principles, and we don't want to do that. So we want to be absolutely sure when we put this information out to give names.
Dr. Baker?
Yeah, I guess, maybe it seems like this in the past has been more of a formality, based on, just because we have to have
That's
this
right,
done.
Dr.
And we don't
Baker.
know about budgets,
That's
et
correct.
cetera. So this is that, but it's also a little bit different.
It is. That's correct, Dr. Baker. It is different this year, and in part of the process that we've talked about for the last year and a half is we will not just give pink slips for the sake of giving pink slips. We are actually making changes. And in order to do that, we want to hold the district as steady as we can, and so not make assignments now and turn around and change them later. So those positions that we know for a fact where people will be placed, we want to be very careful and place them one time and not twice.
Any further questions?
I'll just make a statement. I'm not planning to support it only because it's too gray for me.
fine.
But I think it would have actually helped. The reason I didn't email after viewing the packet is because typically that list is here at the
That is
table.
correct.
And so when I got to the table and I thought, okay, the list is missing, and was planning to do exactly what John just did, was ask the question. So I think I just have a couple more questions. But just to let you know why I won't support the motion.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Can you just remind people exactly who this list, that would it include, the exempt, who those?
The exempt list is all of the administrators in the district, and by law, we have to give a 90-day notice, and then a 60-day notice, and a 30-day notice if in fact we are not going to renew their contract. And it is time to give the 60-day notice for certain people that will not be back. In order to do a blanket 60-day, people will then have I would go and look for another job, and we just don't want that. There are certain people that we plan to take with us as we move forward, and there are others that we don't. And so in order to ensure those that we are taking forward with us, we want to give them the information on their assignment, so.
Okay.
Mr. O'Connor, and then.
I guess I'm just, just the way the resolution is written, the legality of it, I'm not questioning the legality of what we're doing. I don't know if the resolution can just be struck the way it is currently written. And I just want to make sure this is done correctly the first time so that everything works out how it needs to work out.
Do you have a proposal for redrafting?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What's that?
Do you have a proposal for redrafting?
No, because I really don't know how it's supposed to read.
Sharon, maybe?
Is this, I guess my second question, a follow-up question will then be timeline?
Yeah,
If-
right.
If, when
That's
is our
my
next
question.
scheduled meeting, and if we postpone this for a week to get it right, does that, how does that affect,
I think a week, but Sharon, can you, or Mickey, can you come up?
yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we're
I'm-
meeting on
I
Monday.
I'm willing to postpone. or
You
make-
still will not have a list even on Monday, though.
No, but I'm saying, I want the resolution to be
Right,
drafted
the
correctly, so I
resolution,
don't,
that's correct,
we
okay.
don't just strike something and it's still
Got
not
it,
done
okay.
correctly.
All right, I'm
We
with you.
speak through our minutes and,
Yes, we have to have it by the end of this month.
The end of this month, okay.
But not by the end of this week, right? So we can.
We can do it Monday at our
We
meeting.
can act on this at the next meeting. Okay, then,
Well, if we
If we have a meeting.
On Monday.
have a meeting, and, that's not scheduled, but if we call a meeting.
Was that your question? Because I had one after you.
right. I guess to clarify then, what you're saying, Teresa, is that, there's been this bizarre, what's always seemed bizarre as an outsider, culture of sort of carpet bombing school systems with pink slips, to make sure that you've satisfied the requirement that you pink slip everyone you might want to actually
Exactly.
not rehire, but that creates this public perception at a minimum that you're, thinking about firing everybody in your school district every year. And I think we saw Muskegon just pink slipped everybody,
That's
or
right.
some other district did. And it creates this bizarre perception that maybe you're not gonna be educating kids next year.
Absolutely.
So this is an attempt on your part to essentially tighten that process so that we're still giving ourselves the flexibility to get the right staff in place, but not making everybody go through the same strange process of getting a pink slip, right? So this is
Absolutely.
an attempt to fine tune, but keep the flexibility that you need, right?
Absolutely. We need to be very strategic. In the past, we have pink slipped every administrator in the district. And then we've also given assignments, and then we turn around and change them in August, September, and I just don't want to do that. I think that it's unfair to students, it's unfair to staff members, and it's unfair to our parents and our community. I think we need to do it once and do it right. And so when we give someone an assignment and they go out and meet their community, I think we need to stand behind that. And so I refuse to just put out a list of names when in fact I don't have all the assignments in place. We need to be strategic.
So, Board of Ed, we have another reason to meet next Monday, so we could do this on Monday. So do I have a motion to postpone the vote? And are we,
I would, my recommendation would be to have the maker of the original motion withdraw their motion,
okay,
and then
okay,
we can be done.
all right.
I withdraw the motion.
It's a non-debatable up or down vote.
So,
It's support,
What is?
withdraw the motion.
okay, so we have to call the
Call the roll.
vote.
Did they call a vote to withdraw it? So this is a vote to withdraw the motion. Okay,
Does it have to be a vote?
Hang on, I'm checking my cheat sheet here.
Yeah, I didn't think if he withdrew.
Yeah, no, it's a vote required.
Okay,
But it probably can be voice vote, not.
Yeah.
not go
all in
around
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
All right.
Next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda grouping. Do I have a motion to support that?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
And you call the vote on that, Dr. Baker.
I'll get there. All right, Dr. Randalls.
Yes.
Baker, yes. Mr. LeGrand.
Yes.
Ms. Lanier. Pastor Moody.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And President Faub.
Yes. Discussion items, none. Public comment for non-agenda items. I have no cards. Any public comment? Nothing? Superintendent's comments.
No comment.
Right. Board members' comments. Mr. LeGrand.
I will this time, since the meeting's short. A couple things.
The meeting was short.
Although he's not here anymore, I think it's worth telling the people who are left, of that group of athletes, scholar athletes we had in here, one that bears, I think, a little extra highlight is Robert Paul, who is part of the Ottawa Hills swim team. And the reason he bears a little highlighting is because Robert and his brother Michael Robert's a freak. Robert is an incredibly good swimmer, but he's a
That's freak in the best sense of the term,
yeah,
freak.
but he's a
Javon Curse.
very quiet, modest, self-effacing kid. And what was especially impressive to me about Robert is my son Isaac would not have gone to the state meet if it wasn't for the fact that Robert made a strategic decision to qualify for state times in group events, so that as many of those kids could go to the state meets as possible. So Robert could qualify for state in anything he wanted to qualify in. But if he had decided to just go do individual events, he could have qualified for 4 state times in individual events and could have gone to state and might have even made some more records. But what he decided was he wanted as many people on the team to go as possible. And so that's why 2 relay teams went from the Ottawa Hills swim team. And so I think Robert deserves a little extra recognition for that attitude. And he'll be around next year, so I imagine he'll be doing the same thing next year. The other thing that I'll say is that I've had the opportunity in the last couple weeks, last week, I guess, to meet a number of City High students because the entire graduating class right now is playing a game of Assassin, which means that I meet these children when they're outside staking out my car in the morning, coming into my backyard, hoping to catch my son climbing over the back fence. And in about 3.5 hours, a number of those kids will be officially out of the game because if they haven't managed to assassinate anybody in a week, they lose their spot in the game.
Can you explain what you're talking about, please?
That's for the grant.
Yeah, there is in fact apparently the Ottawa County Sheriff's got involved in this game because someone used the word assassin and the assassinate in the context wasn't immediately
Kind of like
there.
tag,
So
right?
yes, it's tag with Nerf guns.
Okay, thank you. All right.
But, so I just wanted to say that I've been very impressed with how civil and polite those children are, or young adults are, as they're going about playing their senior game. And they're a remarkably good group of kids. So it's been fun to see them doing that.
That's good. Thanks. Ms. Lanier.
Brief Jump Jam is Saturday. Can't wait to participate. Exhausted, but
Yeah.
can't wait.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on that.
That's awesome.
Dr. Randall.
No comment.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yeah, well, today's tax day, which we all love, and just briefly, approximately 23% of your state income tax goes to fund school aid. So thank you to all the taxpayers of the state of Michigan for their 23%. That helps fund what we do and helps educate our children, and that's a very important. And I know they don't have much choice in the matter, but we do appreciate it.
Thanks. Dr. Baker.
I just want to remind people to think again about what's happening in Boston. There's lots of community members that are in Boston, and there's at least one GRPS employee that was running the Boston Marathon today. And so, he's good?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
Right,
fantastic.
all
right. So anyway, and I hope that this action leads to us creating community rather than fear. So that's all I'll say.
Pastor Moody. Well, I just want to congratulate the athletes again and thank the coaches and the parents for their support. And also thank SAF for their support of our athletes and other partners like Spectrum. And that's it.
7:15. Gotta adjourn.
Adjourned.
I gotta work till noon.